What is going on, guys? In this video today, I'm going to be walking you through the pros and the cons of one of Phoenix's hottest suburbs and one of Phoenix's most popular suburbs, Scottsdale, Arizona. Now, Scottsdale, Arizona is a fabulous place to live. It is one of the most desired places in all of the valley to live. So there's going to be plenty of pros and we'll cover those. There are going to be a lot of cons as well of moving to Scottsdale, Arizona. So in this video, again, we're gonna cover the good and the bad of moving to and living in Scottsdale, Arizona. If this is your first time visiting the channel, we cover everything there is to know about living and moving to the Phoenix, Arizona area and its surrounding suburbs. And again, my name is Eric and I work with eXp Realty down here in the Phoenix Valley. And I come across people like you every single day, that are thinking about making their move here to the Phoenix Valley and enjoying the absolute sunshine. I moved from Nebraska a couple years ago and I absolutely love it down here. So I want to help you, with your transition and make it as smooth as possible. So, if you're just thinking about making a move or you're moving tomorrow, reach out. We'll help you as best we can and make your transition as smooth as possible. So again, like I said, in this video, we're gonna be walking you through the pros and the cons of Scottsdale, Arizona. Now, we're not gonna talk about weather because go check out my Phoenix in general. We're only gonna be focusing on the city and suburb of Scottsdale, Arizona. So without further ado, the number one thing that you gotta know about Scottsdale is its high quality of life. Scottsdale is a phenomenal place to live. It is one of the most desired, and oftentimes whenever you hear Scottsdale or Phoenix, you always hear Scottsdale right next to it. Scottsdale is where everybody wants to be. It's where everybody wants to, come and enjoy and celebrate, the Phoenix Valley. So Scottsdale, the high quality of life here is unmatched. You have amazing shopping areas. You have some of the nicest houses in the entire Phoenix Valley. Plus you get, the beauty of the mountains. So there's so much to do here. It's just absolutely phenomenal. According to niche.com, you have low crime, you have amazing schools, and it's just such a high quality of life here. It's often voted one of America's best cities to live in, and I think everybody in Scottsdale would absolutely agree with you. So really high quality of life. Everybody around here is so nice. They take care of their properties. And even just driving around, it's a very, very clean city. And so it is often very highly desired of when you move here to Phoenix, Arizona. Now, on the flip side of that, with how desirable it is, the cost of living is astronomical here. Everything from price of gas to groceries to housing. It is very, very, very expensive to live here. The average single family home cost is about $880,000 for a home here, and that's on the low end. You can spend $5, $10, and $15 million on a home up here in northern Scottsdale. So the cost of living is really, really expensive. Everything from groceries to gas. It is very, very expensive. If you haven't go check out our Scottsdale vlog, but there are options to get you into a house, at a little bit lower budget. There's a lot of condos around here, and so there are different means of living. You don't have to buy a $1 million or $2 million house to enjoy everything that Scottsdale has to offer, but just know that the cost of living here is very, very, very expensive. One of the best things that Scottsdale does is they really preserve the desert feel and the desert nature of the area. They call it the westernmost west town here in Scottsdale, and they do a really, really good job of preserving nature and trees, and you just feel, you never feel like you're in a huge, massive city. Scottsdale is one of the biggest suburbs here in Phoenix, and not once do you ever feel like that. Maybe if you're driving on the 101, it can get a little congested, right? But for the most part, you never feel like you're, in a major city. They do a really good job, as you can see behind me, preserving with the trees and the desert, lifestyle. If you drive up to northern Scottsdale, it is so pretty. Of all the cactuses, they have an ordinance that you can't build a certain height. So as you're driving, you literally just feel like you're out in the middle of the desert, and lo and behold, you're in one of the biggest, cities and suburbs in all of America, right? So that is really one of the cool things that Scottsdale does. They did an amazing job of preserving their old town, and if you're ever in the area, you got to go check it out, just because of how well they really preserve the old west, right? So it's one of the really best things that Scottsdale does, and it is just so pretty when you're driving around here. I can't get enough of it. So that is definitely one of the best parts about being in Scottsdale. Now, we talked a little bit about how desired and how high of quality of the living is here in Scottsdale. Well, that is going to come with a lot of tourists. When you think of Phoenix, Arizona, Scottsdale immediately pops into your head, and there's so many tourists that come here into Scottsdale. So there's always people walking around the Old Town area. There's always traffic, and that is definitely one of the biggest cons, is just how busy and how many tourists come. So if you like to go and you don't want to be by tourists, I would not recommend being up here in Scottsdale. You got the golf tournament, you got Barrett-Jackson, and there's just always events going on here in the area. So if there's a lot of traffic, it's very, very, very busy. Once you get in the neighborhoods, it's super, super quiet. But even in the neighborhoods, right, a lot of tourists, they have to stay somewhere. You get a lot of bachelor parties, you get a lot of bachelorette parties, and they often stay in these Airbnbs around the Old Town area. So if you like super quiet areas and you don't like a lot of people coming and visiting, there are other suburbs that I would probably recommend more, just because of how many tourists come here to the Scottsdale area. Now, there's always a reason, right? There's always a reason why people come and why there are so many visitors here, is because there's so much outdoor activity to do. I'm just walking around a neighborhood right now, and as you can see behind me, there's biking trails and hiking trails everywhere. You obviously have these beautiful mountains. There are some of the best hiking. Got to go do Tom's Thumb up here in Scottsdale. Pinnacle Peak is really, really cool. It walks over the Estancia Club. But there's so much outdoor activity to do. Golfing galore. If you love to golf, there are hundreds of courses here in Scottsdale. So definitely come, and if you're an outdoor enthusiast and you love being outside, you love hiking, you love being in nature, Scottsdale is absolutely going to be one of the best suburbs for you. You are super close to the mountains behind me. Camelback Golf Club is really good, but you got Camelback Mountain super close to Old Town Scottsdale as well. So there's just so much outdoor activity. If you love to mountain bike, again, the McDowell Mountain Range behind me is going to be an amazing spot for you to check out. When we first had visited down here, my parents, they love to bike, so we came up here into the northern Scottsdale area and rented some bikes and just drove around. And man, it's just so pretty to drive around and look at all. We talked a little bit about how well they preserve the nature. You just don't ever feel like you're in a massive city. So there's just so much outdoor activity to do here, and you always see people, especially, it's a little hotter today, but anytime it's under 90 degrees, there's always people running, there's always people walking, and it makes you feel like, well, if they're doing it, I gotta do it, right? So there's just so much outdoor activity, and it's one of the best things about living in Scottsdale. Super active community, and there's just so much stuff to do. Now, one of the downsides about Scottsdale is they do have a major highway going through it, but really that's it. So the transportation around here isn't the best, and there's really not that good of public transportation. If you're around the Old Town Scottsdale area, they have those little scooters that you can rent around. They always have people driving around in golf carts taking you where you need to be. But outside of that, if you need to get to other areas of the valley, especially up here in northern Scottsdale, you're gonna be in the car for a long time. There's only one major highway that goes through here, and that's the 101, and that wasn't even built that long ago, but there's always going to be traffic down at the bottleneck right where it meets the 202. There's always going to be traffic. So if you need to get to, let's say you need to get to Chandler every day, or you need to get to Gilbert every day, you work over in the State Farm area over in Glendale, it's going to take you a long time. You're going to be in the car forever. So the transportation around here isn't the greatest. Outside of the the major highway, all those little grid lines, those are all on stoplights. So again, it can get really busy, especially with how many tourists are here. The highway system here isn't the greatest. It is nice, at least it has the 101, but again, just with how much traffic you get here, it gets super busy. Especially during like waste management, right? It was a gridlock. It didn't matter if you were on the 101, if you were on the local streets. It was an absolute gridlock. So if you are not a fan of a lot of traffic, Scottsdale's probably not going to be the city for you. Now, one of the last best parts about that Scottsdale has to offer is there is entertainment everywhere. It doesn't matter what you're into, Scottsdale, Arizona has it. Again, we talked earlier about the golf tournament and Barrett-Jackson, but outside of that, there is world-class shopping. There's two world-class shopping spots here in Scottsdale. So this Scottsdale Fashion Square down by Old Town, that has some of the highest end shops that you can think of here in Scottsdale, and it's really, really nice of how it's just right in the heart of Old Town. So if you live around that area and you need to run to the Fashion Square, it's super convenient, and again, just really, really good shopping options there. But the nice thing is too, up here in northern Scottsdale, if you live in Grayhawk or up in the true neighborhoods, that you have the Kierland Commons and the Scottsdale Quarter. And again, these are all outdoor malls. These ones up here in northern Scottsdale are outdoor malls, I should say. So in the wintertime, they do a really good job of, lighting everything up for Christmas time. And it's just so well preserved. It's really, really a nice shopping mall. So if you are, a big shopper, Scottsdale is going to absolutely have you covered. We talked a little bit about the, outdoor enthusiast. There's golf courses galore out here. If you need help on any golf courses down here, always message me. I'll give you my recommendations to the best ones and other ones that you should maybe skip. So all kinds of entertainment options, but they also have really, really good nightlife. If you, love to party and you love staying out till, 2, 3, 4 a.m., the Scottsdale area, Old Town, they have a ton of clubs that you should go ahead and check out. If you're a gambler and you love, hitting the casinos and getting the vibes of all the oxygen that they pump in, they have a couple really good casinos up here. Talking Stick is one of the best. It's super clean. It's, recently updated. It's just really, really nice. They have a 36-hole golf course there as well, but a couple gambling options as well if that's something that you're into. So entertainment options, you're never going to be bored here. They have all kinds of shows, concerts. There's always something going on here in Scottsdale, and that is by far one of the best parts about living up here in the area. All right, guys, that is my quick list of the pros and cons about living here in Scottsdale, Arizona. Just in general, it really is one of the best places that you can live here in Phoenix. If you can afford to live here, absolutely, I highly recommend. It's just so quiet, it's so nice. Everybody takes care of, all their properties. The tourists, yes, it does get a little bit busy, but once you're in the neighborhood, you never really recognize them. And the further north you go, the quieter it gets. So overall, guys, Scottsdale is one of the best neighborhoods to live in. Again, if you need any help on, moving to the Phoenix, Arizona area, or you're thinking about making a move and you don't know which part to go to, again, just reach out to us. Our contact information is down below in the description, and we're happy to be a resource and help you make your transition to Phoenix and Scottsdale as smooth as possible. So that's it for this video, guys. Comment down below on what your thoughts. What did I miss? What did I not miss? What do you agree with? What do you disagree with? I'm very curious to know your thoughts. And again, make sure you check out the other videos on our channel covering everything there is to know about Phoenix, Arizona. So thanks for watching, guys. We'll catch you on the next video.